Hi everyone, this is Alex Gosse. I'm the owner of Magically Resin and I'm working in collaboration with Shop Resin Molds to bring you new ways and new ideas for using their extraordinarily good molds. I absolutely love working with them. I love the quality of the molds and I love the designs. I'm going to be showing you today how to make this very simple but incredibly beautiful and elegant coaster. I really like these coaster sets. It's such a simple design, but it's just so versatile and you can do so many amazing things that are just so beautiful with this design. Today I'm going to be using one of my dichroic inlays and I'm going to embed it, and it's very important with this particular type of inlay that you make sure that you have a deep enough reservoir that you can put resin in and then embed the entire dichroic into the resin without there being gaps, and making sure that there isn't any air bubbles caught underneath. I'll be using Craft Resin for this pour, and I've already mixed up my Craft Resin, measured equal parts 1:1 by volume, and I didn't add anything to it. You'll see that my cup has a little bit of dried resin in it. I reuse cups over and over again to make sure that I'm not creating more trash. I really like to try and be as environmentally friendly as I can with all of my crafting. So I always try and reuse things if it doesn't compromise the quality of the items that I'm crafting. So I've given this resin plenty of time to degas, and I've also hit it with a heat gun. I want to make sure that there are absolutely no bubbles in this before I put down the inlay, because the inlay is not going to let bubbles release through itself. So you're going to have to get the bubbles to release from the sides. So I like to put the inlay in very slowly to make sure that I'm not trapping any bubbles underneath, and then a process of working my way around to push it down so that the resin will slowly come up along the sides. Now it's important to note that anytime that I do this, I make sure and I only put as much resin in the mold as is necessary at the time, because I don't want it to overflow. Now I'm also on a silicone mat, so if it overflows it's not a big deal, but obviously it makes a mess and there's no reason to. So depending on the depth of the mold, I really try and make sure that I have only just as much resin as you need to put in the inlay, and then I like to finish it off after I'm sure all the bubbles are gone. Next I spray it with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and I like to prep anytime I'm going to use black alcohol ink. I like to spray a little isopropyl alcohol down before I put the black alcohol ink in, because I want it to spread, and it can be very opaque and not move around very much if you don't add additional alcohol to it. I love the piñata because of how saturated the black is, but you also have to make sure and add a little bit of alcohol if you don't want it to just sit there and do nothing. So because of the texture of my inlay, it is so fun to watch the black piñata move around. And this is me adding a pearl alcohol ink that I make myself. So what I wanted, my inlays have a really special effect when there's either black behind them or white behind them, much like if you've ever used nail powders that have a chrome effect. It's a really neat effect, and I like that, and you'll see at the end how that works. So it turns out that I didn't have quite enough resin to fill up the mold and cover the inlay. I had only just designed that earlier today, and I didn't realize quite how deep it was. So I did some adjusting as I played with the design to make it flatter so that it would work better in a wider variety of molds. But it's the bottom of the coaster, so it's totally fine. It's not going to hurt anything. You're not even going to see it. So I decided to go ahead and let it cure without adding any more resin to it. I didn't want to take a chance of it overflowing and then it actually might not have set flat or set correctly. So I like to leave in these demolds. I think it's really fun to watch something be demolded that you just watched being created. But if you're not interested in that, feel free to skip forward to the end and you'll see the goodness of this piece after I take it out in the sunshine. It's just breathtaking. We thank you so much for joining us today. Please be sure and subscribe and like and share and leave any comments of anything that you might be curious about or any molds that you might want to see me do a pour for. I would be happy to do something specific if somebody's interested in how a particular type of mold works. Have a fantastic day, everyone.